Hello, family and friends. I am so glad that you're joining me today because we are going to make a fabulous veggie gratin. And a gratin is just a scraping of bread or cheese that you finish off the top of your dish with. And you can do this with pasta, seafood, or veggies. I'm going to be using Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cauliflower today. I start with the Brussels sprouts, and I like to use golf ball size Brussels sprouts because they tend to be a little more tender and I like the flavor of them better. And I cut the ends off and then I cut them in half. If you do use a larger Brussels sprout, you'll want to cut them into quarters. Then I move on to the cauliflower, again cutting off the stem, breaking it apart, and cutting it into bite-sized pieces. Then I move on to the broccoli and I cut off the stem and make little florets. And all of it goes into a 13 by 9 broiler safe dish. And a gratin dish is shallow so that you can have a single layer of whatever it is that you're going to be baking. So to the vegetables that are in the baking dish, I add a tablespoon of vegetable oil or avocado oil, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of pepper. And I mix it up really well so the vegetables are coated, and then I put it in the oven at 450 for about 30 minutes. They should come out brown and tender. Well, while it's baking, I'm going to brown my panko breadcrumbs by putting a tablespoon of unsalted butter in a pan and a quarter cup of panko breadcrumbs. And I toast them for about 3 minutes. You don't want to burn them. I'll add a quarter teaspoon of salt and a quarter teaspoon of pepper, and then I mix it up really well. Now I start on the sauce. I start by using 2 tablespoons of butter. I take 1 shallot and I chop it up finely. I use 1 minced garlic clove, and then you just stir it. You don't want it to burn. And once they are tender, kind of that translucent look, you'll add a tablespoon of flour, and you'll want to stir that for about a minute to remove the raw flour taste. And then you're going to add 1 1/4 cups of heavy cream and 3/4 cups of chicken stock. The chicken stock will help add nice flavor and cut some of the richness. And I heat it on medium-high and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I turn the heat off and then I add 2 ounces of shredded gruyere cheese and 1 ounce of grated parmesan cheese. I also add 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a quarter teaspoon of pepper, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I pour the sauce, once the cheese is all melted, over the veggies, and I mix it up really well. Then I sprinkle the panko breadcrumbs on top. Now I take another quarter cup of the gruyere cheese, sprinkle it on top of the panko breadcrumbs, and then I put that in the oven at 450 for about another 7 minutes. We want the cheese to melt and get a nice brown crust on it. You remove it from the oven, let it set for about 10 minutes before you serve it because it will be very hot. And I think you might like this. It turned out fabulous. Anyhow, family loves this dish. So until next time, make it a gorgeous day every day. Bye.